I think that's an interesting question. I want you to understand that in Acts 15, James is the speaker, and James is talking about the Gentiles not being obliged to keep the law of Moses. But James doesn't say that the Jews amongst the Christians are freed from the law of Moses. I don't think he understood that himself yet. Paul did. So my suggestion is that you're looking in Acts 15 at a progressive revelation. And certainly we should abstain from fornication. That's quite clear. Jew and Gentile, all alike. I would say that the issue of blood should not affect you now, because Paul in another passage said that if somebody invites you to a dinner somewhere, don't ask any questions. As long as your conscience doesn't bother you, go ahead and eat whatever's been provided for you. It might have been offered to an idol. Doesn't matter. Get on with doing what you have to do there. So my simple answer, I suggest, is that Paul would say to you, no, the issue of strangled meat and so on, the issue of unclean foods and clean foods is not an issue under the new covenant. James, I think, took a little longer to get that clear. Paul is in advance of James at that stage. So James then is not freed yet from the old covenant, as we must be as Christians. Paul is in advance of that. Jesus himself said that I can't tell you everything now while he was there, but I'm going to tell you things in the Spirit, using Paul, using the apostles, to clarify what was not at that stage clear. So I wouldn't worry about buying meat in the marketplace unless your conscience bothers you. Now, if your conscience is weak, then you're going to have to work that out. You don't want to do things against your conscience, but I don't think you're bound to eat kosher food only. That would be a reversion to the law of Moses, and as far as I understand it, Paul does not require that of you. The conscience of other people is what counts. For instance, take alcohol. Perfectly all right to drink small quantities of alcohol for celebration. The Bible tells us that. However, if you've got somebody coming to dinner who you know was brought up in a household where alcohol was the worst possible sin in any kind of even strict moderation, then don't drink it for the sake of the other guy. But you yourself are absolutely free to have moderate alcohol and to have for dinner what may have been offered to an idol, but who cares as long as it's not bothering somebody else's conscience.